Hey guys, this is Bearded Banter, episode 3. This is where we take two of us and we throw each other in a pig pen and we duke it out. And
It's where we prove that Brandon is wrong.
no, okay. So after this, you guys, we're doing it. Hashtag Peter is wrong because he is super
Brandon is wrong.
No, he is so wrong in this. It's stupid crazy.
No.
So what we're here to debate this time is console cycles and how long they should take. Personally, the console cycles we've seen so far have been about 8 to 10 years.
Well, this whole thing stems from the whole PS4 Neo thing that started.
Yep.
They're starting to cut down the time from what used to be like 5. Now it went up to like 8, 9, and some 10 years. Now they're talking about coming out with another PS4, and it's only been 3 years. So we got into a big argument the other day, so we thought we should settle it with you guys.
So I personally think the kind of way we had it so far is making a lot of sense. Obviously, the console cycles used to be a little bit shorter up until like the PS2 and stuff like that because technology was coming out so quick. They were trying to upgrade and keep games current. With the last generations being online, they had a lot of chances to go up there and just update software and stuff online. So obviously that extended their lifespan a whole lot.
The hardware is coming out faster and faster, and console people want to keep up with the games, the way they look and the way they play and the way they run. And I think that they're going to start moving towards a more, down the road, it's going to be a yearly release.
You are fucking high.
No.
Okay.
So your argument was that they should stick to a longer release cycle, or if not, go modular, is what you're saying.
So, okay, in my eyes, the way the model we've kind of followed so far has made a lot of sense. With the Xbox 360 and the PS3, we saw it where they launched one, and then as the console went through, they upgraded it, they made it smaller, quieter.
Like every couple of years, they upgraded it, right?
Yeah, but it was still...
just like they're doing now.
It was still the same console.
No, it wasn't.
It was. It was still a PS3. It had a few differences here and there. It was still an Xbox 360. It had a few differences here and there, but it was still the same console. It played the same games.
Marketed that way to you guys, but it wasn't. So the original Xbox 360 didn't play in HD.
It didn't even have an HDMI port.
No, it played. You can use a component cable and play in 720 at the most.
Yep.
The new Xbox 360 Slim had a HDMI port, and you could play in 1080.
I think it may have only had an HDMI port. I don't even think it had.
No, it still had the big brick thing. You could use a component cable if you wanted to.
Oh yeah, it did. Yeah, that's like trapezoid or whatever it was.
Yeah, weird shape.
Yeah.
So they did upgrade them, and then same with the PS3. They came out with this. They had the big, fat, huge thing.
Yeah, like brick.
And they came out with slimmer one, and even the slimmer ones had newer components, newer chips, newer semiconductors. And that stuff does improve things, not in a way that you see.
Okay, but when you were saying yearly console, because we even discussed it, because my initial argument was like, okay, so what about developers who are developing these games? So obviously, a lot of people like the PS4. It's really user-friendly. It's easy for people to develop for. They've said that a lot. Obviously, the Xbox has, its own development team, people working on that. They just opened up their dev kit so people who are making games can try it out. What if every year that you had a whole new console to work with? Because you were even specifically saying that the games should... Because I was like...
Consoles only need to support the engines that they're making the games in. It doesn't affect them in that way. And they're already writing them in these resolutions. So say you plug your PS4 into a TV that is... You can change your resolution on your TV.
Yeah.
So if it's in 480... your PS4 will still play it in 480. It'll look like garbage.
Okay, so do you want them to do you just want them to give you a more powerful console, but not have people be able to develop for this new console until the console's already obsolete? Because
they can still develop for it.
Okay, think about a game like Uncharted. Okay, they've been developing this game for what, 5 years?
Three, maybe with pre-production, maybe 5.
So let's call it 3. We'll even go to that. So 3 years ago, the PS4 wasn't a thing. It was the PS3. It's been about 2.5. It's been almost 3 years since the PS4 came out. Mm-hmm. So what if they had been developing for the PS4 3 years ago, and the next thing you know, they're like, oh, here's a PS5 and here's a PS6. So now the people who were ready for that PS6, those games look beautiful, and you're like, oh, this Uncharted thing.
How is it different from the PC where new graphics cards come out all the time? They still support all those graphics cards with those games that come out.
I don't know. I don't see it happening. Obviously, like if they ever changed bits, because that's like what happened from the PS3 to the PS4. They went from 32 to 64.
Yeah, that's a whole different architecture. That's a bigger change that you really developers have to really accommodate for.
Correct.
But this is not that. This is just an updated processing power, updated graphic unit, like things that can run more powerfully, and it gives basically it extends the fence that the developers have to work within. They can use more power and more stuff, and your games will still play on your old PS4.
Okay, but will they play on my new PS7? Will my PS4 games play on my PlayStation 7?
Yeah, they should. That's the way it should go. What I'm suggesting is we should go the PC route, but
not modular. So not the
modular,
PC route.
But the way it is going to go is going to be more like iPhones and phones. They're going to stick with one unit. They're not going to let you split it out because they want you to buy their complete thing.
I get
the way they designed. It's going to start coming out every 2 or 3 years, and it's going to be just like a phone. You spend $800 and you update it whenever you want. Having that option is nice.
I get your premise. I don't think gaming's a big enough industry yet to support that kind of thing. The reason they do that with the phone is because, think about it, every single person has a phone. You walk around, you see like 6-year-olds, 8-year-olds playing on cell phones, tablets, everything like that. So putting out that newer one every year makes sense.
I would disagree. I'd
so
say we're right
many
there.
people
You know how many
having.
PS4s are out there now? Like almost 40 million.
How many people live in the United States?
320.
Okay, and how many of those people have cell phones?
How many of those have iPhones?
Okay.
Because you can't just say one system, because then you have to say all the systems. If you're going to say phones or all systems.
Okay, how many people of those do you think have iPhones?
Probably.
Do you think more than 30?
Probably, of course.
Yeah.
Maybe like 100.
Okay, and that's worldwide.
No, that's US I'm talking.
Okay. But my point is, though, is I don't think, obviously, even with just the Neo announcement, people are losing their minds. People are freaking. And it's not even officially announced. Sony hasn't even
Which is the dumbest thing. They should just say now if it is or isn't coming, because they're losing sales now by not saying anything.
But you get what I'm saying. Like, they haven't even officially came out and said, like, the Neo's a thing. This is what it's going to be. This is what it's going to do. We've seen specs on it, so we know they're obviously upgrading it.
But one day it's going to be just like my iPhone. When I get an iPhone 7, it's still going to play all the old apps that still played on the 6 and the 5. They still work.
I think
there's newer apps that can take advantage of the newer stuff, so that PS7 stuff isn't going to play on the PS4. That's not the way that works.
Of course it wouldn't. That wouldn't make any sense.
No, and they should stop cutting out backwards compatibility. Like my PC, sometimes with some emulation, but I can always make the old games work, even from like the 90s. I can make them work somehow or another.
Yep.
They should keep that going.
But we've said it before. We've talked about it because we last podcast, a few of us were talking about like the modular console and going that route. And afterwards you were like, "You're crazy! Like that's never going to happen. They want to sell you the whole piece."
I'm not saying that's not how I want. Now, if they had modular, that's great. That's never going to happen because they want to make the money. Why sell you a piece of the cake when they can sell you a new cake every time?
I get that. But like your point here is like, okay, so the PS7 game should never play backwards. And I get that. That makes obvious sense. Right. I agree with you wholeheartly. We're on the same page there.
So what you're saying is I'm right. This whole argument.
No, but my problem with that is so people are obviously, when the PS4 got announced, or the Neo 4.5, whatever you want to call it.
People got all butthurt because they're not going to be able to take advantage of it.
Well, okay, what if my stuff can't play it? You made the point that people buy consoles. They like knowing that their console has that longevity, that they're not going to have to go through and fix it. They're not going to have to change it, that they buy it, it's sitting on the shelf, and they get to play whatever comes out for the next 5 to 10 years.
Let's break it down as far as your agreement. So you walk into a GameStop or a Walmart or Best Buy and you buy a PS4. Now I'm going to be Sheldon on this. You entered into agreement. You're going to buy this console with this specs and it's going to play games that were advertised in this way.
Correct.
Now you have a huge freaking library. Even if they stop making games to the PS4 right now, you have a massive library of PS4 games that were made to those specifications that you bought into. Okay? You have that package delivered. You gave them money. They gave you the product you were promised. Mm-hmm. Why are people entitled to the 4K specs and the higher resolution stuff and the higher stuff without buying that?
So
you can't get butthurt because they're coming out with something new.
And that's true. But personally, okay, just to make my point clear, if they went to like a yearly cycle, a 3-year, anything like that, you know me, I would stay current. I would pick it all up, and that's great.
Have to,
but that's great for gamers like us. That's great for even like the casual gamer who maybe wouldn't look into it. I don't think it's a sustainable market. I don't think it's a market that allows video gaming to grow. I think the model we have now,
video gaming to take leaps and bounds.
No, because a lot of kids to keep the video game industry solid, to keep it growing, to keep it sustainable, you have to draw on a younger audience. That younger audience is having their parents buy their consoles for them.
So keep making
those
PS4 games.
Parents cannot keep those parents can't buy won't buy a console for them every year. They might not be, they might be able to, but they're probably not going to buy them a new console every single year with a whole new set of games.
Keep buying PS4 games. Or
what if
just
they
stick
stop
with the PS4 games I have right now? Because I guarantee you, not a single person has played every PS4 game to its capability out there.
It's true, but what's drawing those kids in is they're able to play those new games. They're able to push the limits. They're able to grow with the industry.
So developers have to, what are you saying, should hold back and keep making games because people aren't ready to upgrade.
Honestly, like, I don't think that's the way it is. I think a lot of people are still learning what these new consoles can do after 3 years. I don't think anyone's come out and pushed the PS4 to its complete limit yet.
Disagree.
What game did that?
Uncharted 4. We literally just finished it.
You think that game pushed the PS4 to its ultimate? You don't think?
Not to its ultimate limit, to its current limit. Nobody's pushed the PS4 that far so far. And there's other games too, like Resogun. Holy crap. And that was like one of the release games.
Correct, but that's not using every single processing power that PlayStation has.
Sure.
That PlayStation can still do so much more.
I agree. And you can see that from the PS3 when it started to then the Last of Us release. Like, holy crap, you can make that thing do that. But why make the developers jump through these hoops? Like, you have to stretch every ounce of this to make this game look great when now there is a graphics card out there. Like, the 1080 just came out. It's twice as powerful as the 980 in Sly. Like, you have the technology, so why not use it?
See,
you can't use this technology because not everyone's on board yet. So sorry.
And that's where our industry, that's personally where I think our industry's at. I think our industry's at a point where we're drawing a lot of new people in. We're getting people who used to never game. We're getting a younger audience. We're getting people playing consoles who would never call themselves a gamer. They play video games. They might just play the sports game. They might just play the shooter, but they're buying the consoles. They're adding money to the industry.
You know what I think they should do?
And they're helping us grow. So I think the way we currently have it is perfect.
You know what I think they should do? This is perfect because it already works with phones. And the reason you say the phone thing won't work because it's expensive. People aren't going to pay like $500-$600 every year. And you know what? People with phones, they don't. They get subsidized prices.
It's true.
So subsidize the price. So start coming out with consoles every year, make them free or make them $99 and put them on a contract with PlayStation Plus or Xbox Live. You have to sign a contract. You have to keep your subscription current, and that way you can subsidize the price. You can start getting consoles every single year. Why not?
Same thing I said before. I don't think the industry's there. I don't think that's a sustainable way.
You don't think everyone would upgrade every year if the PlayStation was free?
I don't know. I think it'd be a really daunting industry to jump into. It's just like why a lot of people don't jump into tabletop games. It's why like people don't jump into Magic because they're like, well, a new set comes out every year. It's not necessarily that you don't have the money.
Sure, but if it's subsidized, then
I don't know. I want to know what you guys think. Do you think the gaming industry could support that? Do you think they should come out yearly? Do you think we should keep the current system? Do you think maybe they should just subsidize them and give them to you and just kind of pay online with your subscription? I'm interested to hear what you say. And remember, you guys, #Peter's wrong.
Brandon was wrong.